Hello. So some of you may remember this little guy here. This was the first project in an ongoing challenge I set for myself where I crochet a project in 1 hour versus 10 hours versus 100 hours. We've already taken care of the 1 hour time slot. And today we're going to start on the 10-hour version. If you would like to check out the previous video before watching this one, I will link it down in the description. But just for a brief recap, we are going to be making 3 mermaid horses. They're all going to share a similar shape and features. We're just going to be increasing the size and complexity as we work our way up the time scale. So as I said, today we're going to get started on the 10-hour version. And if you want any more of a prelude than that, please go check out that first video. But for today, we're just going to be diving straight in. With the head and the body, I kind of want to maintain this shape and proportions. I'm just going to make the pieces a little bit larger. Where I want to spend most of my 10 hours of allotted time in the 10-hour project is really in the tail and the legs. With the tail, I want to make it longer and shape it, maybe give it a little bit of a curl at the tip. And I want to do more detailed flicks. So something a bit like the goldfish tail. Just longer, more flowing, a bit more elegant, just more detailed. And with the legs, well, I mean, if I crochet legs at all, that's going to be an improvement because these are just little popcorn stitches. But I don't want to do just a tube. I do want to shape them to resemble like horse-ish legs. And I do think those 2 pieces, the legs and the tail, are going to eat up most of my time. Because that's the case though, I don't know whether or not I want to start with them or leave them for later. Perhaps because I'm predicting like these 2 first pieces, the head and the body, like they're going to be similar, just a little bit larger. I think I can knock those out pretty quickly. So that's where I'm thinking we'll start today. And while I had every intention of creating these mermaid horses out of the same like yarn combination, it turns out that I don't have any of this rainbow left and I have very little pink. So we are instead mixing it up a bit, and I've grabbed out these yarns to work with. We're going to make ourselves a nice fiery mermaid horse here today. If you don't get why I am correcting myself the hippocampus mermaid horse thing, you will have to check out the first video. So let's start off, once I untangle my yarn, let's start off nice and basic with the head here. I'm sort of having an internal debate with myself about whether or not I should include the ears as I did with the original, but I don't think I'm going to do that in this case because I would like the ears to be a little bit larger. But I'm thinking I will add in nostril pieces to this particular pattern, the 10-hour version. Speaking of which, before I start crocheting, I need to get up my timer and move the camera so you guys can see what's going on. All right, 10 hours on the clock, ready and go. I'll leave that there. You should still be able to see that. Okay, so first 3 rounds done. Don't want to talk for too long because I'll waste too much time, but I'm going to add in the nostril round next, I think. And the way I'm going to do that is by single crocheting around until I get to like where I want the nostril to be. So it'll be at the top of the muzzle here somewhere. And then I'm going to work in the front loop, adding some chains, and then in the next round, which would be round 5, I will work into the back loop of that stitch. So I find that's an easy way to add little details like nostrils and ears and I don't know, all sorts of things. How many do I want to do here though? That is the question. So I had 18 stitches. Let's divide into 6. So let's go 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then this is where we'll place our first nostril. So front loop. I might slip stitch, chain 2, and then slip stitch back into the same front loop. See how that looks. See how that looks. I got loop and look all muddled up then. So this back loop is where I'll be working into in the next round. And then we can do, let's go 4. So we'll put our next nostril there. Just repeat the same thing, slip stitch, chain 2, slip stitch back into the same front loop. And then we should finish with 6. And 6. Now I'm going to take a moment to write down everything that I've just done because I don't want to forget. Last time, because this pattern, like, it's pretty damn small and it wasn't complex really in any way, it was fairly easy to just reverse engineer it for the most part. But yeah, this one, since we're increasing both the size and the complexity, I think it would be a good idea to write it down as I go. One thing I'm hoping that will work out all right is the yarn weights, because I'm like trying to use up a lot of scrap. I just pulled these ones out of my scrap bag. But this is actually, it's slightly thicker than I initially thought. I hope it won't be like too thick to pair with the yarns that I've chosen, but that's a problem for later. And 6. All right, now we can get sort of a decent look at what the nostrils look like. Yeah, I think that's okay. Is that focusing? Like, they might be a little bit small, but once the entire piece is finished, I can, figure that out. All I'd really need to do to change that in this instance would be to maybe add an additional chain. Like, it's not hard to do, but for now we'll just leave it as a chain 2. And also I want to avoid frogging my work if I have to, because that's just a waste of time that I don't need. That's the head done. It's not entirely finished. I would like to add a little bit of shaping to it, just sort of pull the eyes inward a little bit, but I'm going to leave that till the detail section at the end. I'd rather get all the pieces crocheted first. And doing all that took me roughly half an hour, although I need to be honest, this is about, I'd say, 30 seconds off. As I was moving my phone just before I added the stuffing, I must have accidentally pressed pause. So the clock was on pause as I added stuffing to the head, but I didn't lose too much time. If this project comes down to the wire, I will deal with it then, but for now I'm just going to let it go. But now that the head is done, I would like to finish the body today, but that's probably all the crochet I've got in me at the moment. So this 10 hours of work on this mermaid horse is going to be spread out over a couple of days more than likely. And resume. So the approach that I'm going to use for the body is going to be similar for what I did to the head. I'm sticking closely or fairly closely to what I've done here. I'm going to try and replicate that. It's just going to be a little bit larger. I might even add a little bit more shaping detail to this one than I did the original. But yeah, overall it's just going to be a simple, straightforward piece. We're down to 9 hours and 3 minutes. And this is what we've got so far. So I have 9 hours left and the head and body are already complete. Have I made these pieces too small? Because yes, I did say I wanted to put like the bulk of my time into the tail and the legs. That hopefully shouldn't take me, I'm going to say like 7 to 8 hours, because I still need time to do the other details and the assembly. But even that, I think I might have been overly cautious in my approach this time. But that being said, frogging all of this and starting again is going to take even longer, so I'm not going to do anything about it. And I tried to give just like a tiny bit of shaping to the neck here. I don't really know if it's working for me. But again, it's something I'm just gonna leave for now. So I've made a decision today. I am going to be working on the tail. And the reason I'm going with the tail is, even though I want to put quite a bit of work into the shaping for both the tail and the leg pieces, I expect the legs to just be a lot more fiddly. They're going to be smaller, or I should say narrower pieces. So I reckon I'm going to be dealing with total stitch counts of like between 6 and 12 potentially. And I just don't want to deal with that nonsense today. So I'm going to do the tail, which, while yes, I will be shaping it, it's going to start narrow, but it's going to get bigger as we go. Just, yeah. It's easier. At the moment, it's easier. One thing that I'm also going to do for both pieces is add some pipe cleaners. I am shaping them, but I would like the ability to make them posable as well. Okay, we'll pop you there out of the way for now. So with the tail, I am going to go... That wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. But I am going to curve it around. So the tip of the tail is like going to start there, and we're going to go around and up. And then the open end is going to be where I attach the tail to the back here. So again, I am using this as kind of a template, but the other one is going to be larger, longer, and it's going to curl around like this. Except that I don't have to hold it in position. That's what the pipe cleaners are for. I'm going to add the pipe cleaner now. The thing is, I don't know if this is going to be long enough, because at this stage, I don't know exactly how many rounds the tail is going to be, but I'm thinking it doesn't matter too much because I don't need the entire tail to bend. It's just going to be like the end, the curled piece. And look, worst comes to worst, I had another pipe cleaner. But yeah, I don't really think I'll need it. Like if I bend that, I think that's going to be more than enough to, you know, suit my purposes. And I was also thinking about how I want to add the curve to the piece. Like normally when I'm doing that, I like to use a combination of half double crochet and slip stitches, but that tends to like produce a more subtle curve, and I want something a little bit sharper than that. So instead, I'm thinking I might go with using short rows. First thing, time check-in. We are sitting at 8 hours and 16 minutes now. And this is what I got for the tail. I'm actually really pleased with how the shaping turned out, and that I decided to add a pipe cleaner. So that piece is going to plonk right along the back there. I'm still feeling pretty confident at this point. I think I can get this entire pattern done in under 10 hours. I'm a bit more on the fence as to whether I'm going to have a heap of time left over. That was like in the back of my mind yesterday. I thought I might have aimed too low for this project, but this did take a decent chunk of time. And as I've mentioned, I do want to make the shaping on the legs a little bit more complex. And then on top of that, I'm going to be making 2 of those. So it's likely that's going to eat up a bunch of my time, especially the first leg, because I can foresee like a little bit of frogging happening. But yeah, I'd say all in all, we are on track to meet our 10-hour target at this point. So time check-in, we are at 8 hours and 16 minutes. With the legs, I want to make the hooves one colour and the rest of the leg is going to be in our main colour. I'm tossing up at the moment between the variegated yarn that I use for the tail and just a solid yellow. Probably a solid yellow. Let's go with that. So with the hooves, I'm going to start off with not just single crochet in my magic circle. I want to put in a couple of half double crochet as well, because that gives you more of a taller top, and I think that's more appropriate for like a hoof shape. So yeah, it's not quite circular, not a perfect circle, but that's what we're going for. And you know what, I'm not going to keep doing this. I am going to move the camera. I better start the timer as well. I don't want to forget that. I think I've got roughly half the leg done, and I'm liking the shaping so far. I still just hope I haven't made it too big. I could have made the leg a little bit wider perhaps, but I don't know. I'm gonna err on the side of caution, I think. Now that I've got this, I think I need to start on the knee joint, because I want to make that bend so the leg is sort of triangular in shape. So we're gonna have like the knee here and then the thigh coming down this way. And I considered using my usual combo of like half double crochet and slip stitches combined to do that, but I think I'm gonna get a more like pronounced joint if I use short rows again, like I did for the tail. Looking at the completed leg piece, I don't know if yellow was the right choice for the hoof, but you know, despite that minor criticism, I like how the leg's shaped up. I really think I nailed it this time, and on the first go too. But if I press the leg up against the body there, I think that's pretty proportional. Might work better if I use pins instead, and my hand won't be blocking the entire piece as I try to show it off. At the moment, I know it seems fairly bulky where the thigh joins to the side of the body, but that will be flattened down once I sew it. So yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with how that turned out. Very glad I don't have to frog anything and start from scratch, but I do have to make a second one. So in an impressive display of my time management skills, I've managed to complete the primary body pieces of my mermaid horse, and I still have 7 hours to go. I may have slightly misjudged how long this was going to take. Just a little bit. But I suppose, silver linings, I have 7 hours left. I can take my time with the assembly, but also I think I can get really creative with the details, go into detail with the details. So I could try and make a full, flowing, magnificent main piece. I can get creative with the fin work on the tail. Might be able to add a few other details, you know, to the face. I mean, I still need to crochet the ears. There's that. But yeah, I've got to think of a few other things that can chip away at the time a little bit more. Because it's kind of embarrassing if you start out to do a 10-hour challenge and it only takes you 4, 5. Well, at this point I've crocheted a bunch of little detail pieces and I still have 6 hours left. I did not plan this one very well at all, did I? But look, I can still potentially, you know, chip away at some of this time, because I do still need to assemble this thing, which is what I'm going to do now. And obviously that's going to take a little while, but I need to add the mane to the back of the mermaid horse here. And you know, I can get creative with that perhaps as well. And then once I have like all those main pieces assembled, the mane finished, there's potentially some more little detail pieces I can add. Hopefully I can like whittle this down a little bit, because while it doesn't have to take, you know, exactly 10 hours, the goal was to make one in like just under 10 hours. That's the point. It was supposed to be just under 10 hours, not, you know, half that time. But as I said, I'll do what I have to do. Don't necessarily have to rush myself. That's one positive. And then, you know, we'll see what sort of time frame we're looking at then. Oh, well, I'm all assembled and I have 5 hours left in which to do the main. I have a sneaking suspicion that my time limit is not going to be an obstacle in this challenge. In an effort to eat up as much time as I possibly could, I sort of went a bit ham on the main. Oh, that's a running theme with me. Whenever it comes to horses or horse-like creatures, I'm never really happy with how the mains turned out. That's a skill I have to work on, you know, main creation, but I think I'll leave that for another day. But anyway, yeah, I made this main quite a bit fuller than it probably needed to be, and I did some shaping to the face. I added a few little details. I added some more fins. I did what I could without overcrowding the piece, and even after all that, I still have 3 hours and 43 minutes left. So technically I completed the challenge. I did get this completed in under 10 hours. I did not go over that limit, but I don't think it's fair to say that it was entirely successful, because like 3 hours and 43 minutes is a lot of time left over. I could have managed this project a lot better. And all I probably would have had to do is like keep the same basic shapes that I made. I just would have needed to make the pieces a little bit bigger. So I think it's fair to say that I was just way too cautious when it came to the creation of this project. The main really does make me laugh. I did do too much. I did way too much, but I know I had to give it a shot, I think. For comparison's sake, this is the 1 hour version. This is the supposed to be 10-hour version, but it's really the 6.5, 7-hour version. But I suppose I can take, learn a lesson from this, because coming up, the next project that we're going to tackle is the 100-hour version of our mermaid horse. And I think now I know going into that to not be so overly cautious, and knowing my luck, that's going to backfire entirely, and what should be a 100-hour project will end up like a 200-hour project. And I suppose that's really all I have to say on the mermaid horse. But that's not all I have to say on. And today's feature creator on the hookup is GutsyBear, and she says, I was taught by my grandmother how to crochet when I was about 10, mainly because all of my cousins were also doing it. Learning from her was not easy, since she worked way too fast for me to pick up what she was trying to show me. When I asked her to slow down, she would just say that she can't work slower and I have to keep up. Eventually, somehow, I was finally able to make a simple granny square. After a bit, I felt like there was no point crocheting, so I stopped. Years later, when my daughter was a toddler, I wanted to pick up crocheting again, but didn't have a hook. My partner's mum bought herself some box dye to give herself some highlights, and instead of getting the usual plastic hook from the box, she got a 4mm crochet hook. I joked and said it was destiny. I started watching tutorials from YouTube, and since then I have been crocheting non-stop and have made some really awesome projects. Though my grandmother was not the ideal teacher, she introduced me to the craft, and if not for that, I would not have gotten where I am today. Oh, you gotta love that attitude. You can't keep up? Oh, bad luck, that's not my problem. Honestly, that sounds a little bit like one of my nanas. The love is there, but it is tough love sometimes. But anyway, if you'd like to check out all of the GutsyBear's links, they will be down in the description, and so will a link to the hookup form if you'd like to apply for yourself. Thank you all for watching today. Let me know your thoughts on my mermaid horse / hippocampus. For the most part, I'm really liking how the overall project turned out. I'm just a little bit disappointed in myself that I sort of was severely under time, because, I mean, that was the point of the whole challenge. But anyway, like the hippocampus, pop you there. Thank you all for watching again. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Share if things worth sharing. And I will see you in the next one.